They've rebuilt the bridge now. The motorway traffic to the west of Kyiv looks normal. But when the history of this war is written, a chapter will be saved for the M06 and the E40 highway. A killing ground for Russian soldiers that Ukraine will never forget. The police say the attacks on civilians along this road lasted from February 28th to about the end of the first week of March. They're still investigating the killings of dozens and dozens of people in cold blood. The collective shock hasn't gone.
Я такого ще не бачив. І коли ми навіть виїжджали звідси, ми вже бачили цю дорогу, ми вже бачили ці трупи, ці автомобілі. Під пострілами ми виїжджали на інше безпечне місце, і вже коли поверталися, щоб робити свою роботу, це був жах. Тут було все розбомблено, тут дорога повністю була зруйнована, було дуже багато трупів.
They've saved the cars that were shot up by the Russians in a series of breakers' yards. Most are burnt out, but many are as they were. The possessions of the families still inside. The blood on the seats is dry now. The bullet holes are cold. Well, these cars are all part of an investigation into what happened on the main road that takes you into the west of Kyiv. That's the M06 and the E40. These are mainly, almost exclusively being driven by civilians. Many of them were hit by tank rounds, set on fire, or just shot up. You can see a lot of them. I mean, people, many people died on this road. In what we now pretty much know, and talking to police investigators saying it was quite at the beginning of the war, and it was the Russians attempting to move into the capital, and they wanted this road to get through it. A bridge had actually been blown, so it probably meant that their movement came to an end. We know that a man, we're not certain which car, but one of these, a man was killed, and there's video showing him dead on the side of the road. This is a family vehicle. You can see inside. We know that large numbers of families were shot and many of them killed as they tried to escape as the war got nearer. And this is the car I was driving in as well. Five of us got out of this. I must admit, it's quite amazing, really. I got out this side, but everywhere we had been, there's bullet holes in the seats, etc. Also up in the roof. It was a professional hit. The police certainly no doubt about that. What's interesting is what the soldiers will tell you is the grouping of the bullets. So the first sets of bullets were to try to kill the driver, which would be these ones to the right, and then left to the passenger seat, and then slightly across. And you can see we were probably certainly, Richie Mockler, our cameraman, who was in the front, was pretty much saved by the engine block, which took quite a lot of the rounds. In the days that followed the attack on us, police say 20 people were killed on the same short stretch of road. The burnt-out hulks of vehicles stayed untouched for weeks. It's believed Russians burnt the cars with bodies of the dead inside to cover up their crimes. Locals filmed this vehicle as it was set on fire. It belonged to a family they knew had been trying to get away. They were shot at by Russian soldiers. Sergei Stotsky and his baby daughter Anna were injured but survived and were allowed to leave by the Russians after pleading with them. Sergei's wife Lena was killed immediately, and witnesses say her body burnt in the car. She was just 28 years old.
I have a reason to live, and I try to recover as fast as possible, just because I have a small child and I need to protect her, because I couldn't protect my wife. And, I feel guilty about this.
The war is far from over, of course. For now, it's moved to the east, but it could easily return. the locations and the memorials aren't part of history yet. We're still on the first draft. Stuart Ramsay, Sky News, Kyiv.